Football Manager training, does it really matter? What if I told you I'm currently top of the league in Serie A with 7 wins from 7 with Fiorentina, and I haven't touched the training once?
No, I'm not happy with it.
In fact, that's the first time in this save that I've actually clicked the training tab. So all these results, including wins against Juventus and Napoli, have came without touching it. So the question is, do we need it? Right folks, so training, right? I know a lot of people get confused by it. Some people go deep down into it. Me, I don't really touch it. So the question needs to be asked, does training actually matter? My answer is no, but it can. Now that might have been a bit riddlish. Riddlish, is that a word? But if you're not keen on training, I'm saying it is not a necessity to do. In fact, let me take you over to another save of mine, Bologna, where we're just testing a new tactic with Bologna. Blooming mad tactic, by the way. It's probably not going to work, but once again, I have not touched the training. Not touched it. And we've still had games where we've battered teams like Roma, despite having 10 men. So, training? Again, over to a save I did with Inter, did one season with Inter. Won the league at Atalanta, and yet again, through the entire season, I did not touch that screen once. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you're looking for ease of game, you don't need to do it. You don't need to do it. If you've got a good tactic, decent players, don't worry about it. But if you're doing a long-term save and you want to bring players up from the youth team, stuff like that, then training can get a little bit more important, but it's nuanced. For example, I'm doing a long-term save with Anderlecht with a keen eye on the youth team. We've managed to win the league quite a few times, and the youth players are starting to come up. It's largely due to a great youth development system, but that's when training comes into it for these guys. For example, Noah Siddiqui, we promoted him from the development team into our first team pretty quickly, but not before we gave him some training. You can see from his player screen there that he can play in a load of positions. In fact, his most natural was defensive midfield, but I wanted him to play as a wing back, so that's when training came into it, getting him to concentrate on his role more and some additional focus on a couple of areas he was lacking. This in turn meant that he was no longer just a natural in ball-winning midfielder, he was also a natural at wing-back as well, which is where we wanted him to be and where he plays nearly all of his matches. So if you want players to become a little bit more natural in a certain position, then training does become more important. And there is one more other thing that makes training important. For this we go back to the Fiorentina save. There's a sneak of the tactic, by the way. Now Nicolas Gonzalez is playing as one of 3 strikers, and I haven't got much in the way of midfielders, so I need him to drop off a bit more to get the ball, and his attributes tell me that he's going to be good at that. This is the other occasion when training comes in handy. You can see there in green that he's got a new player trait on the way, comes deep to get the ball, so that training will assist my tactic because I need him to drop off more. If he's got a trait to do that, he's going to do it more often. There's also a bunch of guys who've created some absolutely jaw-dropping training regimes, such as good friend of the channel RDF, Aaron there. He's done the most effective FM23 training method. Nice title, mate. The detail that he goes into in this video will leave your jaw dropped. So if you don't want to do training, the other option is just download Aaron's. There's also a few on this very channel. Now that good looking Welshman is JDFM and he's done the best individual training you can. So have a look through the channel as well. These aspects are good, but what I'm saying to you about training as a whole in FM is don't worry about it if you don't want to. And do you know what? That annoys the of me. Because I think I've proven by winning leagues in all different countries and not touching training that it doesn't matter, and it bloody well should. So yeah, does training matter in Football Manager? No, yeah, but it should matter a lot more.